Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm for Classic and welcome to Sniper Elite Resistance, a game developed by Rebellion. Well, it's the same developers as always from all the Sniper Elite games. Um, I think they have been focusing in their new game called Atomfall and decided to release strangely this Sniper Elite, which is pretty much Sniper Elite 5.1. It's Sniper Elite 5, but a little bit more of the same. Alright, and obviously I decided to take the game for a spin. This game it is using the Nuvo, so you won't be able to find it for now in, well, less legal sites over the internet. But the game is available on Game Pass, and that's exactly the version that I'm using to test it out. Alright, so uh, this still, like I said, this is pretty much Sniper Elite 5.1, so it doesn't run any different than Sniper Elite 5.1. It's pretty much the same engine. They just created new maps, and yeah, it's typical again Sniper Elite 5.1 in terms of gameplay, graphics, everything is pretty much the same. Still, and again, I decided to take the game for a spin because maps could be more different, more dense, and yeah, they are incredibly dense, just like again Sniper Elite 5. And graphics wise, like I said, I'm starting with 1080p on both settings, which is a little bit potato because it lacks ambient occlusion, which in this game makes a huge difference. I could easily play this game with both settings, but ambient occlusion needed to be on in order for us to have an awesome experience in here. Alright, so with the both settings, the experience it is overall above 100 frames per second. Even when we are in the middle of the grass like this, we get the worst results, which is 83, 85, still way above 60 frames per second, so no issues whatsoever in here. Performance is really great. So I will be trying to be more quicker in this game because I have a lot of settings in here to show you off. So let's move on to median. Now, regarding median settings over here, so let me just show you how it looks like in the settings. So again, 1080p, median preset. The median preset, it just puts every stuff on median, but leaves the tessellation off, which could make kind of a difference in rocks and stuff like that. But apart from that, it's pretty much the same. So performance levels are more close to 60 this time around, although I haven't found a place where it does drop below 60. Even in the middle of the grass, as you can see, which is the most demanding points I can find, it still remains above 60. It doesn't mean that it won't be dropping below 60 in probably different maps, in different situations, I don't know. But overall the experience was above 60 frames per second, which makes median settings my favorite setting um, when I did try the game, because it's a really good candidate if you want to lock the game at 60 frames per second. Curiously enough, Xbox Series S is locked to 30 frames per second. I mean, I don't know, I think I would prefer the game to be downgraded or offer a performance option, because clearly that console can run that game at 60 frames per second, because it's our hardware is quite equivalent to the Xbox Series S, so it makes absolutely no sense why that console is locked to 30 when we can just easily achieve 60. That's why I like PC, because we have the power of choice in here. If I want to play at 30 frames per second, I just bump up the graphics to other different settings. But since I want to play at 60, I think median settings it is quite good. I mean, comparing to both settings, it is a huge upgrade, and between median, high, and ultra, you just get like the tessellation, you just get better shadows, better water quality, which doesn't really make too much of a difference, to be honest. Uh, Better draw distances, which means less pop-in, and obviously better textures. But I mean, regarding hard style, it is really just the low setting that breaks it all. So if you play at medium settings, your experience will be already great. Even if you play at low settings, like I said, as long as you enable ambient occlusion, your experience will be great. And not like a potato graphics like you have seen with the low settings. Alright, so let's move on to other settings in here, which I want to show you off. Alright, so we are here again on the main menu. So the eye settings, it just enables tessellation and puts every stuff on the eye settings. this is when we really start to push a little bit of too much of the VRAM. So VRAM, it is now near 4 gigabytes of usage. Dedicated usage, it is around 3 gigabytes, which might mean trouble, because if you reach 3.3, you are just hitting the limit. And what happens in Sniper Elite Resistance is that when you are really hitting the limit of the VRAM, it starts to fail to load certain textures. So and it starts to swap back and forth between high quality textures and junk quality textures. So at one point you might be looking to a texture number 1 where it does look good, but certainly that same texture a little bit in the other place of the map might look really bad, because that scene have more textures and they don't fit inside the VRAM. So the game needs to, you know, to downgrade certain textures on fly. It's a little bit like Unreal Engine I've been doing lately when you don't have enough VRAM. It just loads low quality textures for certain materials to make it fit inside the VRAM. And so Sniper with Resistance, it just behaves entirely the same way. When you don't have enough VRAM, it just does that. On the eye settings, I really didn't notice too much of an issue, and especially I'm recording, which makes the consumption of slightly higher than the usual. Uh, eye setting seems comfortable in that sense, but still, I'm not too sure about other different maps that might require more VRAM and stuff like that. It might have some issues, so you might need to downgrade textures to medium if you find those issues. Now, regarding performance, the eye settings does offer an overall experience above 60, although contrary to median settings, in some spots, in some more demanding spots like in the middle of the grass or some occasions like this, you can spot some drops below 60. I mean, this might be ideal if you have a VRR screen, which is a variable refresh rate screen, with G-Sync or FreeSync or any stuff like that. That should provide you a more smoother experience, but still, as soon as you hit the grass, uh, I mean, I'm having an 43 frames per second. I mean, even with a VRR screen, you will notice this drop as soon as you embrace the grass in here. So, it's really up to you. If you variable frame rate, it is not an issue for you. High settings, it's fine. But if you want to target an experience or a full flat experience above 60, I think median settings, it is pretty good in my opinion. Alright, let's see how Ultra does fare. So again, we are back in here to the menu. So let's take a look at this Ultra. I mean, I have to make some adjustments in here. I had to reduce texture quality to high, because the eye textures was already on its limits, and as soon as I pushed the Ultra textures, it started to happen exactly what I did describe. So many textures weren't molding correctly their high quality assets, and they were failing to build a lot of their assets. So I needed to decrease the graphics quality to, you know, I mean the texture quality too high. Alright. Although even doing this, I encountered some certain spots where textures were swapping back and forth. So let me show you off what you can expect. Alright, so this is a level in a little bit more forward of the level. As you can see, textures were, it is just molding back and forth. It's a little bit weird. This is what happens when you don't have enough VRAM for the game. It just doesn't load textures decently. Alright, but let's move on a little bit for the performance test. And yeah, outer settings, it seems like a much better target to 30 frames per second. So yeah, probably this is the settings that the Xbox Series S uses. I have no idea, honestly. I'm just trying to guess why that console is locked to 30 in the first place. But still, I don't really want to play with these settings. I mean, Ultra, it is more close to 30 than 60. Even with textures on high, there was that issues that I did show to you. So I don't think it really makes too much sense to play like this when we have the opportunity to play at 60 frames per second with other settings, which don't really make of too much of a difference visually. I mean, that's just my opinion. So we have tried all the settings at 1080p, so I think it's time to move on to 1440p. I mean, we have a lot of users out there with 1440p. Hopefully, not many with this GPU. But if you kind of if that happened, that you brought a 1440p screen and you have the unfortunately of having this GPU, I got you covered. So let's check it out how 1440p behaves. And here we go. Let me just show you off. So 1440p, we'll be starting with the most settings over here. And yeah, this is the expected performance. So in this beginning area, I'm just having like a very good experience. No grass in here, so easily above 60. But let's just yeah, let's just do this headshot over here. Amazing. And let's move on to the grass moments. Alright, so we just reached this place, and as you can see, good experience above 60 in here. Still low settings. Like I said, it does look like a potato when you don't have ambient occlusion. So if you intend to play at 60, I mean at low settings, 1440p, turn on ambient occlusion. Alright, yeah, performance will degrade a bit. Probably that area in there in the grass where I was having 61, probably it will drop to like something like 55. But I mean, it makes a huge difference visually. Alright, and possibly if I was playing at 1440p, I think that would be my decision. Probably play with low settings, enable ambient occlusion. I would probably raise the textures to median and see how it fares. But yeah, if I had 1440p, probably I had gone with this setting. I mean, with this combination of settings in here, just to see how it works. So let's see if I. Oh no, I was expecting to try if I had any luck, although, and unfortunately, I didn't have too much luck in here. Alright, so I will be just fighting these guys off in here. Trying to throw grenades. But I guess I didn't really add too much luck in here. Yeah, still I killed some of them, which was pretty cool. Alright, let's forget about this and let's move on to the median settings at 1440p. So here it is, the menu. Remember, this was my favorite setting at 1080p. So let's see how it fares in 1440p, how good it will be. So for now, it does seem like bad news already, because this is not a very demanding area, and yet we are already at 63, 62. Alright, so yeah, on the kill cam, it is already dropping below 60, so yeah. Probably in the middle of the grass, it's just it's just going to drop below 60. So let's move on to those moments. Alright, here we are, already on the 50s. I'm not even down in the grass in here, but yeah, it's already on the 50s. This might be a decent setting for you to play if you have a VRR screen again. VRAM, it is fine. I mean, the dedicated usage, it is around 2.9. It is now raising to 3 gigabytes. I think the game only start to show some issues when you start to go on dedicated usage, like at 3.1, 3.2. So I think it's a nice spot, unless you are really in the middle of a level that well, it just demands more. I think 1440p median settings with VRR, I think it's a very decent. So again, it's the same issue as the eye settings. So as soon as you drop down to the grass, it just drops to 45. So yeah, I'm not really sure if you aren't really going to spot too much on a VRR screen. But still, it's, I mean, 1440p median settings is very equivalent to 1080p eye settings. Alright, so it will be a little bit dynamic. It won't be locked at 60. But if you are not very sensible like that, or if you don't really care about the locked 60 frames per second, oh my god, I'm not there, boy. You are dead now. Okay, if you are not very sensible to variable frame rates, I mean, this might be the best setting for you. Although I still prefer an experience fully above 60. Alright, so now that we have median settings covered, let's just move on to 1440p high settings in here. Alright, so this is the last setting that I will be trying out in here at 1440p. So 1440p high settings, I think I'm pushing way too much on the texture setting, so you might encounter issues. Alright, so textures again molding in decently or not. So my suggestion in this is, despite I did use the eye textures, probably it is the best option to go with medium textures. Alright, you can go with high settings, but just go with medium textures for 1440p in case you want to play on high settings. So the performance that you can expect in more demanding moments are something like this. So I just came in here again to my my favorite moment in here, and oh no, it didn't work properly. Oh yes, oh yes. So it's more close to 30. All right, so you're going to get 40s. If you drop down to the grass, you have lower 30s. So it's a, let's just say it's a nice candidate if you want to lock the game at 30 frames per second. So how the hell they told me? Jesus, just use something like 1440p high settings and probably textures on median because of the VRAM, and lock the game to 30 if you want to have a Series S experience, let's say this way. But I mean, this type of game, I would really recommend you to go with 60. But it's really up to you, alright? But 60 should... okay. Nice headshot though. Alright, so I think that only one setting is remaining. I'm not going to try 1440p Ultra, so let's see how the game behaves at 4K low settings. I mean, I wasn't really expecting to 4K low settings to run that bad. As you can see, everything is on the low settings, everything is just low. And the frame rate it is really where I did expect it to be. But I was finding some weird stuff was happening. I mean, VRAM wise, it doesn't seem to be very pushed. Although something feels off. I mean, something is not right. And if you look to the trees at a distance, something is really wrong. All the textures seem really bad. All these plates on the floor look bad. And as soon as I used the crosshair in here, something was really wrong. I mean, the crosshair is not appearing. So yeah, we have a VRAM issue at 4K or something. So yeah, I think, yeah, it is this. So let's get back to my median settings, to my favorite setting, which is 1080p median settings, just for you to have an idea what is my recommendation for this game. Yeah, this is clearly my favorite setting. It might look a little bit overkill because we are having 80s, 100 frames per second, but I would probably just lock the game to 60 frames per second and VSync it, and again play with the gamepad. Not many people play Sniper Elite with the gamepad, but I do enjoy. And I also like to play with authentic difficulty, which I'm doing in here. We don't have any aids, any signals where the enemies are, or if you are getting spot or anything. So it's an authentic experience. I completed Sniper Elite 4 like this, and I did love it. Was a really piece of work. So I think this is where all the fun are. If you are kind of a hardcore guy, like a Dark Souls player, and you want to have the hardcore-ish experience, I do recommend to play Sniper Elite on its authentic difficulty. Alright. So I think that's all that I want to talk about Sniper Elite Resistance. I'm just going to leave you in here with a little bit of gameplay, which won't be last, because I'm just going to die. Thank you a lot for watching, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.
Nehmt alles auseinander!